So thanks for signing up, and one of our brokers will be in touch shortly. However, in the meantime, here are our top 10 tips for you and how to make money in the property market. So tip 1, this is to choose a broker and an agency that you trust and have a great relationship with. Property is a medium to long-term investment. You should therefore be dealing with your broker for years to come. So if you've got a great relationship with them at the start and great trust at the start, it's going to stand you in great stead moving forward. Also, you can be open and transparent with them every step of the way. Tip 2, you're going to want a company that does everything under one roof. The last thing that you want to be doing is to research the best agency, then research the best solicitor, mortgage broker, then find a company to furnish your property, find yet another company to manage your property. Save yourself hours and hours of your time and get all of this under one roof. Tip 3, don't buy on emotion, buy purely on logic. This is the biggest mistake people make. This includes, don't worry about what the property looks like aesthetically, don't worry about the windows. You are simply buying this to make as much money as possible over the time that you hold this property for. Another rule is forget day-to-day news with the emotional side of things. Don't read the latest news and be put off if it's negative or rush to buy if it's positive. The reality is you're going to be holding this for the medium to longer term, so any price fluctuations during this time, they're largely irrelevant. You simply want the best priced property in the best location that gives you the best income. Now, tip number 4 is to use a professional broker. Why? Because these guys will have the tools and the ammunition to get you the best deal. Ask the broker how they make money as well. If they get a set percentage, 1 or 2%, the reality is they're not going to want to get you a discount. Why? Because if they're making a set percentage, they're going to want the highest price possible. That gets them the most commission. This is not what you want. If they simply charge you a set fee, for example, £2,500 fee, regardless of the price you pay, they're going to be more willing and they're going to try as hard as possible to get that seller down on your behalf because you are their main concern. Now, tip 5 is you've got to make sure the property has the option of letting for both short and long-term lets. Typically, these are city centre properties. This means you can aim for at least 10% a year income on your short-term lets, or if you want to change, or should any rules and regulations change, you can easily switch to the traditional let over a 12-month period. Now, tip number 6, you've got to check out the figures behind the management company. Don't just take their word for it. Ask the management company for proof of their short-term let track record. Ask them for their proof of their traditional track record, and don't get caught up in going for the cheapest management company. Cheap doesn't mean great value, it means cheap. The reality is they're cheap because they're not that great at what they do. So tip number 7, if you're an overseas investor, look at the exchange rates from your currency and realise that it could be a perfect time to transfer into UK pounds. And you could really benefit from not only having a great investment from a growth and an income perspective, but you can also make money on the exchange rate too. Tip number 8, don't follow fashions. Just because the fashion at the time may be the need for space or to have a certain amount of bedrooms, just realise that over the long term, the best rental tenants are young professionals. They've got disposable income and they typically pay on time, every time. What do they want? They want city centre and they want great quality properties. If you go for this, you're onto a winner. Tip number 9, don't go for residential properties where there is a guaranteed rental income. Why? Because mortgage companies don't like it. The reality is it's okay for student property, but not for residential. You're going to find it tough to get a mortgage, and potentially you're going to find it tough to even resell your property. So just make sure that your rental property from a residential perspective makes exactly the income that you're being quoted. Last but not least, tip number 10. This is the most important tip out of the lot. Pick up the phone and phone Flambard Williams, of course. That's it. That's tip number 10. We'll hold your hand through the whole process. We'll ensure you have a great experience. So any property purchase you make sure it's through Flambard Williams, one of the best agencies in the industry.